listening to LSU Daily with Matt Musso, your home for all things LSU sports.
Off and running here on another edition of LSU Daily. Welcome in and glad to have you with me. Eve of signing day brings unpleasant news for LSU in the class of 2025. Five-star cornerback Kade Phillips decommits from the Tigers and subsequently flips his commitment to the University of Texas. We'll get into that, what it means for LSU's class, what was behind the decision, although I think you can guess, and where LSU goes forward at the cornerback position heading into the 2025 season. It's not all bad. Obviously there for LSU, you built up some really good depth in this class at cornerback, so we will go through that. Of course, by now, sure everybody's seen a second LSU player hit the transfer portal on Monday. That was Landon Ibieta. Quick thought on that. And then the Tigers, men's basketball, they're on the floor tonight. SEC ACC Challenge in the PMAC hosting Florida State. This looks like it sets up to be a really awesome matchup, so we will get into that a little bit as well. Tip-off set for 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. Be sure to subscribe, share, all of that greatly appreciated. Follow me on social media, Twitter, X, at Musso Matthew, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find me at Matthew Musso1. And let's get right to it. We will start with the Kade Phillips news. So, if you are unfamiliar with Kade Phillips and his journey so far through his recruitment, let me fill you in. Kade Phillips, if you look at On3, is a five-star cornerback, number 5 cornerback in the country in the composite, number 10 player in the state of Texas in the composite. He is out of Missouri City, Texas. At one point, a Texas commit. He flipped to LSU back in August, and now, obviously, today, on the eve of National Signing Day, or I should say the early signing period, he has flipped back to Texas. It gets a little bit deeper in than that. You go back 2 weeks, Kade Phillips had a visit set up to Texas. It was the weekend that LSU played Vanderbilt. And last minute, those plans changed. Corey Raymond got in, did what he needed to do. Kade Phillips not only didn't visit Texas that week, he shut down his recruitment, said he was fully locked in with LSU. And I know that's obviously going to catch the ire of LSU fans, and commitment doesn't mean anything, and, you know, you ain't loyal, stay loyal, all that. Yeah, but that part's not new. Shutting down your commitment has never, or your recruitment has never really meant anything. You know why? Because a kid can say all they want, don't recruit me, I'm going here, and teams are still going to recruit, and teams are still going to come with bigger offers, and teams are still going to do that. Like, that part's not new in recruiting. Okay, that has never been, teams don't just honor it, go, oh, yep, sure, like, guys, teams tamper, right? We know that. Like, we know all of that. When you're looking at transfer portal, all that stuff, that's not new. Spare me on that. I'm not surprised when it comes to that. It's always, yeah, they shut down their recruitment. That's awesome. You have them until you don't, right? You have them until you don't. Until ink meets paper and it's faxed over, it's not 100%. So that part of it stinks. Because, yes, it looked like LSU had done what they needed to do to get him to cancel that visit, to get locked in, and right here on the eve of signing day, you're losing. And that's a bummer. But that should tell you right there, like, use some common sense, what happened. Texas dropped the bag on the kid. That's what happened. And it sucks. You've gotten outbid twice now here in the last 2 weeks down the stretch leading into the early signing day, and that really stinks. Like, it really does. But I think you look at this and you see a case where LSU, again, did everything right with Kade Phillips. I mean, for God's sakes, they flipped him from Texas originally. Kept him committed all the way up until Tuesday, when the Longhorns came back with, you know, here's a little bit more. Sure you don't want to stay home? Okay, you stay home. Y'all know how I feel about numbers, going to numbers when it comes to this sort of thing. Reports are always conflicting. There's always maybe a little bit more or maybe a little less than what's out there, but I'm sure it was I'm sure it's a handsome NIL offer there for Kade Phillips, and he will now be a part of Texas's class. So where does that leave LSU? That's obviously the more important part. And man, when you look at it, keep in perspective that LSU had the potential to bring in one of the best, if not the best, cornerback classes in the nation in 2025. Heading into Tuesday, obviously you had DJ Pickett, Kade Phillips, Aidan Anding. You lose Phillips. You still have Pickett and Anding at this point. The one you're obviously keeping an eye on is DJ Pickett. And I think we're all very familiar with him. Number one cornerback in the country, consensus 5-star plus as they call it across all recruiting services out of Zephyr Hills in Florida, and has been really steady, committed to LSU for a very, very long time, has spoken, and his dad has spoken. They want him to play for Corey Raymond, all of those things, and all of those things remain true. You got him back on campus for the Oklahoma game. That was huge. He stayed through Sunday. That was huge, and everything out of that is still locked in. It's for LSU going forth. Now, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Until the ink is dry and the papers are faxed in, take it with a grain of salt. I would tell you, yeah, keep watching DJ Pickett because of the programs you're competing with for him. Miami and Oregon, 2 big NIL programs. Could they drop a bag on him last minute and he takes it? Sure, why not? You've seen it enough. I'm not telling you that's going to happen. I'm not telling you that I know something. I'm not trying to break any news here. I'm simply saying be on the lookout for it. You knew that was one you were going to have to sweat all the way through because of the caliber of player he is and where you're looking, the programs who are looking to flip him from you. But as of now, as the time of this recording, the eve of signing day, that's locked in still. So that's really good. And the closer you get, I think the better you obviously feel about getting that across the finish line. But you're not there yet. Aidan Anding, I think you feel really, really good at. Another battle with Texas there. And LSU won that one. And Aidan Anding's the number one cornerback in the state of Louisiana. And if you're the number one player at your position in the state of Louisiana, you're pretty darn good. Those are still 2 guys that can contribute early for LSU as freshmen. You just have to get those across the finish line, and that's still 2 really big pieces. And then, oh, by the way, there's the transfer portal window that opens on December 9th. And LSU will absolutely be in on a cornerback, especially losing Kade Phillips. You have to replace that guy in your class, and you could go in for a starter if you really wanted. Zy Alexander is gone. Yes, you have Ashton Stamps coming back. You have P.J. Woodland going into his second year. Like, you have some depth, but when it comes to experience, you have Ashton Stamps. If those guys aren't taking the next step, it'd be nice to have another starter come in. And yes, a guy like Pickett could do that for you as a freshman. You have plenty of options there. It sucks losing Kade Phillips. But LSU is set up currently to be in a really good spot at cornerback. I trust Corey Raymond to develop the guys he has on the team. Do you? I would imagine so. I trust him to recruit well. That's been going okay until Texas dropped a bag. You get Pickett, Anding across the finish line. You get in that portal. You let Corey develop the talent that he has already. You're still on your way there. But yes, losing Kade Phillips sucks. That is a blow to your class. That is a blow to your future. Anytime you lose a top 5 player at his position in the country, that's always going to be a blow. So don't misunderstand me. That stings. It does. But you still have a chance to have a very, very good haul at cornerback here in 2025. You just have to get the rest of it across the finish line. The clock keeps ticking. You get closer and closer to National Signing Day. All right. Quick note on Landon Ibieta. Entered the transfer portal Monday afternoon. For those of you who do not remember Landon Ibieta's story, he signed with LSU out of Mandeville. Wide receiver. He's one of the top receivers in Louisiana in the class of 2022. And his career in Baton Rouge has just been riddled with injuries. He appeared in one game as a true freshman. That was against Purdue in the Citrus Bowl, so it didn't count against any eligibility. He comes back for a redshirt freshman season in 2023. He missed the entirety of that with an injury, and still you haven't seen him much here in 2024. He did play in the Arkansas game. So total in his career, he's appeared in just 2 games. It's very unfortunate. You never like to see the Louisiana guys have to leave, but it's an understandable decision for a guy like Landon Ibieta. The injuries have derailed your career. You've just been buried on the depth chart as a result, and that's a really hard position to break into if you're at LSU trying to get on the field as a wide receiver. It makes a lot of sense, and you wish him the best, and it's just unfortunate that it did not work out at LSU. So that's at least 2 right now that have formally announced their intention to enter the portal. Again, the transfer portal does not officially open until December the 9th, but Ricky Collins, Landon Ibieta, the 2 officially who have announced their intention to enter the transfer portal. There will be more. It's just the natural attrition that comes with this day and age of college football. So we'll keep you up to date there as we know more and learn more about guys' decisions. All right, final topic here to get to, and that is some LSU men's basketball. Florida State comes into the PMAC Tuesday night, 8 p.m. tip-off. SEC ACC Challenge. The Seminoles come in riding a 4-game win streak. They are 7-1 on the year. If you want to look kind of at the schedule so far for Florida State, they did play Florida. They lost that game. That is their one loss. So to an SEC team, pretty good one in Florida. Other than that, it hasn't really been much to write home about on the schedule. So the one power opponent they played, they lost the game and lost it by double digits, mind you, as well. 87-74 in that one. We'll see if LSU can fare a little bit of the same. When you look at the game itself, LSU is a slight home favorite in the ball game. Line is all the way up to 4.5 in favor of the Tigers, who enter on a 2-game win streak of their own. When you look at Florida State, this is also their first true road game. So let's make the PMAC loud on Tuesday night. Students are getting free T-shirts to get in there. So if you're a student, get in there, go be loud, make the PMAC the home court advantage that we all know that it can be. This is a pretty good LSU team. They're way better than they were the previous 2 years under Matt McMahon. Some exciting young players, some exciting veteran players as well. So look, if you haven't really taken notice, I know finals are coming up, obviously, at LSU if you're a student, but even if you're not, football's over now for the time being. Get out there and support the basketball team. It's time to take notice. They're doing great things. I think there's still a little bit of unknown, obviously, when it comes to Florida State. Jameer Watkins is their leading scorer, just over 17 points per game, and he's also averaging close to 5 rebounds per game. He is ultimately the player to watch. When you look at Florida State as a whole, because the schedule has been what it's been, there's a lot of unknown there, like I said, with the Noles still. They've played one power conference opponent. It was 20th ranked Florida at the time, and they gave up 87 points. So the defensive numbers are skewed, just quite honestly. I mean, they ranked 4th in the ACC, 64 points given up. They're holding their opponent to under 40% shooting. But again, who have you played? I like LSU here. LSU's definitely the more battle-tested team, and they get it at home. That's important when looking at this game. I like the depth that you've seen from LSU too, especially the young depth like Corey Chess, like Victorious Miller coming in and really providing valuable minutes, but a massive impact on the game as well. Corey Chess has been very good in the rim protection. He's been very good at the rebounding as well so far. And, I mean, Victorious Miller just continues to make big play after big play and late in ball games when LSU needs it. The one thing I really want to look at for LSU here Tuesday night against Florida State, the first half, LSU's got to start getting off to better starts in these ball games. You look at the Alabama State game, LSU was stuck on 26 points at the half. Now, they had a big second half and won it. You look at the Charleston Southern game, same thing, almost a carbon copy of of Alabama State. LSU's on 29 points at the half. They're down. They have a big second half. They pull away and win the game comfortably. Pitt, same deal. Same deal. LSU, 28 points in the first half. Now, they had a lead. They didn't have the big second half. They lost that one. UCF, LSU, 25 points in the first half. Now, that game ends up going to 3 overtimes, and you win it. But point remains. And then the last time out against Northwestern State, it looked just like Alabama State in the Charleston Southern game. 25 points for LSU the last time out in the first half. And then again, big second half. They scored 52 and pulled away and won the game. But you were looking at the last 4 games for LSU. They have not cracked 30 points in the first half. They have to get off to a better start scoring the basketball in order to really win these. Like Florida State, I get it. I said we don't know how battle-tested they are. They don't look very battle-tested. That's still a power conference opponent. You get down, it's going to be really tough to come back against a team like Florida State from a good conference in the ACC. So let's look for more efficient scoring from LSU in the first half. Hopefully get off to a better start in the game and can use the strong second halves, which have been a trend for them in really every game except for Pitt, to put a team away, much like they did against Kansas State. So that's really what I'm after from an overview standpoint. I want to see how LSU does with the threes. They're averaging 8 made threes per game. Jordan Sears has obviously been fantastic for you there, as has Cam Carter. But as a whole, LSU has not been a very good three-point shooting team. Excited to watch, see if the philosophy has maybe started to shift a little bit already. I know LSU wanted to rely on the three a little bit more this season. It just hasn't really come to fruition there. And again, when you're looking for a faster start, you've been pretty good down low. Of course, you won't have Damian Collins tonight. That's big. It's a big presence for you in rim protection, so that's going to be a battle to watch. But again, as we said, Jalen Reed, Corey Chess, they've been pretty darn good for you there. But you are going to be without your best rim protector in Damian Collins again as he deals with the shoulder injury. But it's not season ending, and he will be back. Of course, Matt McMahon gave you that update I think last week heading into the Northwestern State game. So I'm really looking at the offense here tonight. And then, of course, rebounding is going to be huge. I mean, that's always a big thing that you want to see. And the battle on the glass tells so much when it comes to a basketball game. So that's kind of just a, check that box every time. We're always looking at the battle on the glass. LSU, Florida State, Tuesday night from the PMAC, 8 p.m. tip-off. And we will have a full recap for you on Wednesday's show, as you might guess. That's going to wrap it up for today. Be sure to subscribe, like, share. All those things are greatly appreciated. And follow me on social media. And be here next time for more on LSU Daily.